Good morning. This is Send 7 World News in 7 minutes. I'm Stephen Devincenzi. Today is Wednesday, the 29th of July, 2026. Starting in Asia today. In Japan, a 7.1 magnitude earthquake hit the western island of Kyushu yesterday, with over 60 aftershocks, measuring up to 4 in magnitude. A shopping centre in the town of Kashima partially collapsed, trapping many people inside. Local media has said that people have died in the collapse of the mall. However, no official details have been given. There were some other reports of buildings collapsing. Around 300,000 people were told to go to evacuation centres, and around 50,000 people lost power. In Yatsuhiro Station, a train derailed and fell on its side, causing injuries. Buildings in Japan are generally constructed to withstand earthquakes, as Japan accounts for about 20% of all the world's earthquakes, with a magnitude higher than 6. In Iran, around 1,500 prisoners who are sentenced to death are on hunger strike, according to rights groups. Prisoners at Gezel Hisar prison have sewn their mouths shut, according to The Guardian. The Norway-based human rights group Iran Human Rights says that at least 424 people have been executed this year, after protests in which tens of thousands of protesters were killed by security forces. On Tuesday, 2 men were executed after being convicted of, quote, waging war on God. In Hong Kong, a British woman has been sentenced to 6 years in prison for blackmail and perverting the course of justice. A court found that Isabel Rose lied about being raped while in Hong Kong and attempted to extort money from the man she had accused of raping her. In Pakistan, civil rights groups say that security forces shot dead at least 30 protesters on Monday and yesterday in the Kashmir region. The Joint Awami Action Committee says that it was holding peaceful protests calling for election reform, and that security forces fired at unarmed people and then stole the bodies to hide the evidence. In Palestine, there are reports of Israel's Yellow Line moving deeper into Gaza. Yellow concrete blocks mark the part of Gaza which is under the occupation of the Israeli army. Residents of Gaza speaking to Reuters have said that they have been forced to move several times because the Israeli army moves the yellow blocks. Americas. In Peru, Keiko Fujimori has been sworn in as president. Fujimori is the first woman to have been elected president of Peru and the second woman to hold the position. In Chile, a former army colonel has been arrested and will be imprisoned for his part in the murder of the folk singer Victor Jara in 1973. Jara was murdered with other left-wing activists and politicians a few days after the 1973 military coup d'etat, which removed the democratically elected president Salvador Allende, and in which General Augusto Pinochet took power. In 2023, 7 retired soldiers were sentenced to prison for taking part in the murder of Victor Jara. However, Nelson Haze Masay was not located until now. Africa. Nigeria's government has told South Africa that it needs to do more to stop attacks on Nigerians and other Africans after a series of anti-immigrant protests and violence against foreigners in South Africa recently. During a meeting of Nigerian and South African officials in Nigeria, Nigeria's Foreign Minister, Sola Enikanyolai, said that some people who had permission to be in South Africa were being attacked, and said that the police were not doing enough.
This xenophobic attack had gone beyond, attack on criminals. We have record of Nigerians who have legitimate papers to remain in South Africa, yet they have been attacked. And we could see some mob actions, which we saw the police watching as if they are helpless to address this situation, which to us raises issues of state responsibility. It raises the issues of complicity.
In Senegal, President Bassirou Diomaye Faye has started his own political party. Faye came to power in 2024 after the leader of the Pastef party, Ousmane Sonko, was barred from running in the election. Faye made Sonko his prime minister. However, they fell out a few months ago, and Faye removed Sonko as prime minister. Sonko still remains popular in parliament, however, and was made Speaker of Parliament, and is still the leader of Pastef. Faye's new party is called Kide, which means shield in the Wolof language. Uganda has started emergency distribution of food after at least 19 people have died of hunger. There has been a long drought in the east of Uganda, which has ruined crops and left 1.5 million people without enough food. Europe. France and Spain are continuing to battle extreme wildfires as the fourth heatwave of the year starts. In France's southwestern region of Gironde, over 250,000 people have been evacuated, and the fires have moved closer to Gironde's capital city, Bordeaux. President Emmanuel Macron said that the fires were the worst France has ever seen. Some parts of France could reach temperatures of 40 degrees over the next few days, and parts of Spain could be even hotter. The situation around Spain's capital, Madrid, is reported to be improving. However, Spain's state meteorological agency has said that the fire risk level will stay at an extreme level. Ukraine is continuing long-range drone attacks on Russia's Wildberries retailer, which is the equivalent to Amazon in Russia. At least 10 Wildberries warehouses have now been hit. Ukraine says that Wildberries sells equipment used by the Russian army. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky travelled to the United States yesterday to attend the funeral of Senator Lindsey Graham, who was a supporter of Ukraine. And in Greece, Mount Olympus has been declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Mount Olympus is Greece's highest mountain and is the mythical home of ancient Greek gods. That's your world news in 7 minutes. If you enjoy this podcast, you should become a Send 7 supporter and receive ad-free listening, bonus episodes, daily transcripts, vocabulary lists, worksheets, quizzes, and more. And we give 10% of our profit to highly effective charities. Click the link in the episode description for more information. Tomorrow you will be with Julia Martin. Have a great day.